You ever found a simple 5-cent coin in your pocket and thought, what if this is worth more than meets the eye? Well, let me tell you about the 1990 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that looks totally ordinary to most, but for collectors and numismatists, it's the kind of piece that makes hearts race. Because under the surface, there are secrets, varieties, rare strikes, and grading details that can drive up its value dramatically. Today, I'm going to take you through why the 1990 nickel might not be just nickel, why it could be worth serious money, and what to look for if you want one of those rare versions. Let me start with what the regular 1990 Jefferson nickel is. It's a U.S. nickel, face value 5 cents, minted in large quantities, in Philadelphia, P mint mark, Denver, D, and there's a proof version, S, made for collectors. In common condition, circulated, it's usually worth exactly what its face value says, 5 cents. No one's rushing to buy a worn nickel for more than that. But that's where condition and variety enter the game, and they change everything. First, mintages. The 1990 P regular strike, for example, had over 660 million made. Same with the D mint. That large supply means the basic coin, in average circulated condition, is plenty available, so value for those is just face value or maybe a little above for almost uncirculated. But when you get into the higher grades, uncirculated, mint state, and special varieties, demand rises, supply thins, and suddenly collectors pay attention. One of the key things collectors look for is what's called full steps. On the reverse side of the Jefferson Nickel, the Monticello building side, the steps of the porch, the horizontal lines, need to be fully sharp, well-defined, no weak spots, no blending, no fading detail. A 1990 P with full steps is a version that commands much more attention. For example, a 1990 P with full steps, in a high mint state grade like MS66 or MS67, has sold for over $1,000. One of the auction records for a 1990 P, even without full steps, was just about $2,990 in MS60. Then there are rare proof versions, the S mint, struck specially for collectors. Proof coins are usually more carefully struck, better surfaces, more visually striking. The 1990 S-proof nickel in pristine condition, especially with special features or even errors, can sell for several dollars or more, depending on grade. Speaking of errors, these are juicy. Errors increase rarity, and that rarity fuels collector desire and value. One especially interesting error variety is the 1990 No S-proof Jefferson Nickel. Proof coins were supposed to have the S mint mark, but some slipped out without it. These missing mint mark proof errors are very rare, and a near-perfect example sold for around $30,000. So just imagine, a coin that looks nearly perfect, looks like a proof, but is missing its mint mark. That's the kind of thing collectors drool over. It's like owning an oops that nobody destroyed, something that should have been rejected, but somehow survived. Another example. When a regular 1990 P or 1990 D nickel with full steps is graded extremely high, like MS67 FS, full steps, that's properly sharp detail, perfect strike, great surfaces, prices jump. A 1990 PMS67 FS sold at auction for something like $1,260. The same for the 1990 D with full steps in high state. One MS66 Plus FS sold for $1,093. So what are the levers that make a 1990 nickel go from a worthless 5 cents to potentially hundreds or thousands of dollars? Let's enumerate. 1. Mint mark, P, D, or proof S. Proof coins usually start higher. 2. Condition/grade. The scale goes from circulated to mint state, MS60 up to MS70. The higher, the rarer. Imperfections hurt value a lot. 3. Sharpness of strike and full steps. If the steps on Monticello are fully sharp and defined, that often separates a $5 coin from a $200 plus coin in uncirculated grades. 4. Error/variety. Missing mint marks, misstrikes, double dies, die cracks, etc. The rarer the error, and especially the fewer examples known, the more value. 5. Authenticity and certification. It helps a lot if the coin is graded by a respected coin grading service, PCGS, NGC, etc. An uncertified coin may be worth less, or may be hard to sell for big money. 6. Demand and market. Rarity is only part of the equation. Someone has to want to pay. The collector demand for specific errors or sharp full steps examples drives up prices. Here's a story to drive this home. a collector finds a 1990p nickel. At first glance, ordinary. But on closer inspection, he sees the steps on Monticello are all sharp, crisp. He gets it professionally graded. It returns MS67 with full steps. Suddenly this nickel, which he thought was maybe worth a few dollars, gets listed, and other collectors bid. It ends up selling for over $1,000. Long shot. Maybe. Possible.